So once you have the data that passes through NIFI, your next point of call is to visualize it. And that's where the CyberSift implementation of OpenSearch comes in, which is what you're seeing here. The very first time you log in, you are going to have this, which is fine. You're going to be shown the custom plugin, which, to be fair, is just some out-of-the-box dashboards that we come up with because they are common to all our different customers. Plus, you have some configuration settings that make the product a bit easier to use. Probably the thing that you would end up using the most is the agent liveliness, because this shows you or gives you a report of all the agents that have been reporting in, which ones have not been reporting in, so that you can make sure that your events are actually coming in to the SIEM. But for those of you that already know Elasticsearch or OpenSearch pretty well, the learning curve is going to be really shallow. It's pretty much done. So, for example, the Discover tab, you're going to have something that is very familiar. A tip over here is if you always end up going to an index which is empty, like my case, it's very easy to change the default index pattern. Instead of filebeat, I would like to make it winlogbeat, which is where I'm storing most of my data. And by clicking on that star icon over there, I can change it to the index that I want, so that now when I go into Discover, it will from here on out start going into winlogbeat. But having said that, you can view the raw logs that are incoming via all your different agents across all your different sources in the Discover tab. In winlogbeat, you're going to start seeing, we already have a couple of examples that show the context edition that we do. So you have the computer name, which is normalized. That's the CyberSift one over there. We put in some fields like message title because we might have a few examples over here where the message is actually split over a very large number of lines. So we take only the first line so that it makes it a bit easier to filter. Let's build a very quick number of columns over here so that we'll just have something to play around with. Alright, we've as CyberSift, we've put in a couple of improvements that would make our analysts' life a bit easier. What do I mean? So for example, typically if you are an experienced Elasticsearch operator and you'd like to see how many log level messages you've got, you would just click on this and you get the top 5 values and away you go. But this, from a security point of view, has a bit of a downside. It only considers the first 500 records. And probably as a security analyst, you are very interested in events that don't happen so often. So what we've done, just because we've come across it a number of times, is we've added some new functionality by clicking on this inspect icon over there. You now get a more detailed breakdown of all the different field values across all your time range. So case in point, over here you notice that we have some critical log events that we would have missed. Building on that, let's filter format for those log events. And the query language, there is loads of documentation online, either from Elasticsearch itself or even through OpenSearch. We conform to standards over there. Well, let's say you've come up with this lovely search and now you would like to save it so that you don't need to keep on rebuilding this screen over and over, right? Let's click on save and we'll put in critical Windows event logs. Let's save it. Fantastic. So now even if we go into the Discover tab and kind of we started from scratch, right? We can just go on open, critical Windows event logs, and there we have it. Now, the next step is maybe you'd like to build a dashboard or a visualization, and that leverages the saved search. Doing so is quite easy, and we'll show you a couple of improvements along the way. So let's go to visualize, let's go to create a visualization, and first I'm going to create a data table. As you can see, there is an option for the saved search that I just created. Let's split the rows by terms, and yeah, that should be fine. And agent.name. Great. So now I have a table, and I'm just going to save it for use later. One good point to note is over here, out of the box, OpenSearch gives you this little option here. It says link to saved search. Click to learn more or break link. And if I click on it, you can actually view this search in Discover, which is brilliant because maybe as an analyst you want to go back to the raw logs that created this visualization. But we have a trick up our sleeve. So let's click on save, and I'm going to put in demo table. I just named it out of arbitrarily. So let's go and save. We're going to go to dashboards, and I'm going to create a new dashboard that uses the table that I just created. Okay. If you notice over here, there is no way that an analyst can go easily back to the Discover tab if they see something weird here, right? So, oh gosh, I have critical events. I need to see what these are. You basically need to go back into the Discover tab, manually open the saved search, and away you go. This is where CyberSwift's trick comes in, where we go, where the trick is basically that if you create a visualization that has the same name as a saved search, it will automatically generate a link. So let's do the same thing. We'll create a visualization, data table, critical Windows event logs. We'll put in, let's build it exactly the same way, just so that we will have a valid comparison. Okay, I'm going to save it. The important thing is that I name it exactly the same, critical Windows event logs. So critical Windows event logs. I'm going to save and return. I'm going to add and critical Windows event logs, which is here. It's been added. And if I refresh, and here I should have saved and then refreshed my screen. But you're going to notice that comparing it to at least this table, we now have a blue hyperlink. And if I click on that blue hyperlink as an analyst, it will take me to the saved search that I had previously created. Let's put this to 1 year. Okay. And we're back. So it kind of saves you a bit of clicking around when you are under that pressure to do a threat hunt, or you're trying to figure out what is going on. The whole UI is based around ease of use and flexibility. I think it is fair to say that we have one of the most flexible products on the market, between the power of Nifi and the open nature and the way we manage to inject our own features into OpenSearch to make sure that whatever the scenario that you come across, you would be able to at least ingest and visualize that data. Alerting is the next common function that we will be discussing in one of the future articles, but hopefully with this video you already got a pretty good idea of how you can query, visualize, and use dashboards to effectively figure out what's going on in any component of your infrastructure.